Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Well, welcome all, and this is Truthslayer, and this is another question and answer vid by me. As always, if you have anything you would like me to answer, or a question, or a comment, or something in the world of professional wrestling you want me to talk about, send a question my way. I will be more than happy to answer it. All I ask is that you make it a good question, and that you just ask one question per person, please. So let's get started here. Let's see what we got. What's up with the big men WWE? It seems like the whole locker room has jobbed to Khali, Umaga, and Mark Henry. They don't honestly believe the fans want to see this, do they? Well, here's the thing. The fans historically do want to see big, monstrous big men. And that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to make all three of these guys into monstrous big men. Haven't done necessarily a good job with it for various reasons. Khali, just because Khali does not have the skill. Umaga, because they basically, they haven't pushed him the right way, and Mark Henry because of his injury, so he's never been able to have a sustained push. So there you go. Hey, Truthslayer, between 1997 and 1999, which was the best company, WWF or WCW? And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this. What's the story behind your name, your display name, Truthslayer? Why did you choose that and not your real name? As far as the best company, I actually like WWF more than WCW at the time. At that point in time, in '99, I started not caring so much about the WWF because the wrestling started to go away in the form of more angles and more soap operas type things. But between '97 and '99, the wrestling was pretty good. And in WCW, I kept getting frustrated by seeing the same guys in the main event, guys not given enough time. Pretty much the same things I have against TNA, to be completely honest, at this point in time. As far as the name Truthslayer, I've said this before, but I will say it again. I got that nickname in high school in debate class because I had an uncanny ability to take people's, well, perceived truths, not real truths, but perceived truths, and kind of flipping them on their head and pretty much destroying them. So they started calling me, I got the nickname Truthslayer, so there you go, and I've always kept it, so there you go. What did you think of the WWE DVD special they had on, like, The Undertaker or ECW, them being high sellers, even with the bias still being rated great? I thought they were great. What did you think of them? You can answer. Okay. I would say that where the biasness in WWE came out was, I would say, in the Warrior DVD. That was pretty much just a slam job by the WWE on Warrior, which they didn't have to do because Warrior will sound like a nut if you do a real DVD on him. But they've had a falling out with the Warrior, so they decided just to go after Warrior with everything they had, and it's too bad because that could have been a really good DVD in my opinion. The ECW DVD, I think, is for the most part is pretty accurate. They did leave some stuff out, but that's going to happen in a 3-hour. I mean, you really need a much longer DVD to really explain all of what happened in ECW. But I think they were both very good, and I think the ECW DVD is probably the best DVD they've ever produced, to be completely honest. So there you go. Was Homicide's brief ROH title run a failure? Because a lot of people have said it was. I don't think it was, because I never felt that Homicide was going to have a long title run anyways, because after he won the title, there was really nothing more for him to do. So there you go. What I would like to know is your take on the current state of the Hardys. I mean, they are each in the top 5 most overperformers in their respective brands, yet are constantly kept in the mid-card level. Why do you think WWE chooses to keep them out of the limelight as opposed to people the fans don't even want to see, i.e. Orton and Khali? Well, Orton, I would say they want to see. Khali, and I won't get into that. But I think the reason is I don't think they have faith in Jeff being a main eventer, and I think they're holding off on Matt so that when Matt does become a main eventer and does go to the main event, if they choose to put him there, it will be something special, and I think that's what they're waiting for. So there you go. I just wanted to know what you think of mid-'90s WCW. I think it was mid to late '90s. Back when Nitro was great, compared to today's product. I mean, I remember back when Raw and Nitro were competing. Raw just seemed like a sex show, whereas Nitro was putting on more wrestling and all-around better show, in my opinion. I think you're talking about probably the late '90s. The mid-'90s, both shows were putting on a lot of wrestling at that point in time. Nitro, in my opinion, was pretty good up until they started trying to swerve the fans too much. They were worried too much about surprising the fans and not putting on a good product. And they felt like if they surprised the fans, they put on a good product. Then it got too cute, and it started to not. The NWO angle started not to make much sense. And then fans started getting tired of seeing the same guys go over, the guys they wanted to see more of, not seeing more of. It all became that. But I do think the product would be good today. I mean, it was a good product. There's no question about that. So I think it would compare to today's product very well, to be completely honest. After watching the majority of the matches from the 1994 J Cup in New Japan and understanding the circumstances behind it, I was wondering, TNA has a lot of cruiserweights on the roster, and they clearly aren't using a lot of them at all, such as Petey Williams. Why won't TNA follow New Japan's example, since they have a talent exchange deal with them and have a tournament of that caliber, with the winner getting a future X Division title match? It would help boost the lower card guys, help bring up new big names, as well as making the X Division mean something again. I agree. I know PS Powers talked about this too. Maybe having that tournament at Destination X, just having a cruiserweight or X Division tournament at Destination X, and that all at Destination X being, I think that would be very good myself. So there you go. Hey Truthslayer, I know you've probably been asked this question before, but what are your top 5 matches of all time in your opinion? In no particular order, it would be Flair versus Steamboat 2, Jumbo Tatsura versus Tenryu, Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask 1, Jumbo Tatsura versus Misawa, and Misawa versus Kawada 94. Yo, Truthslayer, which wrestler has held the most championships belts ever at one time? I believe it is Ultimo Dragon, who held 9 at one point, 9 or 10 at one point. I can't remember how many the J Cup had, but it was either 9 or 10. What does TNA need to do to draw in WWE-like numbers? What do people clamor in droves to WWE house shows, yet TNA has a struggle to sell half of the buildings for their pay-per-views? This is not a knock on either company, but why is there such a huge gap? Part of it is just exposure. WWE, of course, has a much bigger exposure than TNA. They've been around longer. People know their name. It's a brand type of thing. And I just don't think TNA does a very good job of selling their house shows, and I don't think they're going to the right markets for their house shows either. I think they would draw better, in my opinion. I think a better question is, why can't TNA draw better than Ring of Honor's house shows? I think that's an even better question. Wondering if you've read the book Death to WCW. If not, the book gives a lot of facts and insights about the promotion. My question is to you is, what Booker wrestler gimmick pay-per-view contributed more to the deaths of WCW? Bischoff and his just continually putting over the NWO over WCW. That's what, in my opinion, was the death, what caused the death of WCW. I have read the book of Death of WCW. It's a good book. I think Scott Keith's 2 books that cover the same time period are a bit better, because I do think Brian Alvarez was a little too biased, particularly with his views on the WWE in that book. So, if Hogan isn't a good wrestler, why is his DVD in your top 10 so high in your top 10 WWE DVDs? I can't imagine that with Hulk Hogan and all the matches for it being very good. Is there something I'm not getting? Almost every match on there is extremely historically important. That is why that is in my top 10, and I think everybody should have it. Hey Truthslayer, I haven't heard many questions pertaining to the Florida-based Fed known as Full Impact Pro. What is your take on it, and would you recommend to wrestling fans? I would recommend some of their matches to wrestling fans. It's basically Ring of Honor South. In my opinion, it's run by the same people. It's pretty good. I would recommend it, looking into it and checking it out. Why is Samoa Joe doing a Noah show, since I thought TNA talent is being put in other Japanese promotions such as Angle in New Japan and then Inoki's new promotion? Or is it just because of an individual talent bookings and not just because of they're in TNA? Basically what happened is Noah does have a talent exchange deal with TNA, but it's just for TNA talent to go to Noah. Most people, when they signed it, figured it was for Joe, and there you go. That's why he's going over there. So that's all. I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.